happy Monday. Hey guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Oh, hey, Sherry's joined. And I saw Carol's here, Jenny is here, Lenny is here, and Cynthia's here. Hi guys. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, Marianne's here. Hi. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I have a really fun design to share today. I think I did maybe share a sneak preview of it at some point, maybe like a couple weeks ago. I've been picking it up and working on it here and there since I first shared starting it. So I thought this one was so cool that I thought I would show like a start to finish class where I can show how I started it. And then I had this one ready to finish and we can finish it together. Hey, thanks so much for joining everybody. Hi there. It's been a crazy week. This week is already like, I feel like it's already maybe like Wednesday, even though it's Monday. A lot going on. A lot of cool stuff is coming up. This week we'll have some new videos that are coming out. I'll give you a recap of all that stuff at the end. But I'm just giving everyone a couple more minutes and then I'm going to just dive into the project. Oh, Debbie says it's snowing. Really? Wow. I feel like, I don't know, snow for me, like I think Thanksgiving or later, but I guess there's no rules. I mean, the weather does what it wants, right? We had rain today and the rain got, like last night, the rain was loud. It was so loud that you could hear it, even with like the TV on, you know? And then today was cloudy and sunny off and on. And we're in a sunny minute here on the West Coast. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Cindy says she liked and shared. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, Debbie says there's a fire in Reno. Oh, you're not far from where my parents are. Yeah, so my parents, they're in Sacramento area, but my grandfather's out a little closer to where you are. He lives out more towards like Carson City. Oh, Tina, that's so sweet. Yes, you guys all feel like family to me as well. It's an awesome compliment. And Cynthia says no snow in Florida. Oh. Yeah. Well, I suppose if you didn't want snow, you could go there for that, like to get away from the snow. That's pretty cool. Awesome. Well, hey, I'm going to show you guys the project really quick, and I'm going to let you know where you can find everything. So I did pop a pattern onto the website. I literally just did it, like right before I came up here, but it's on my patterns and tutorials page, and it shows exactly what I've got laid out here, and it also has all the colors. And I put all of the colors on a blog entry too. They're also listed in the description if you don't want to go to a website. So they are literally, if you click on like the more button, kind of like depending on what kind of device you're on, sometimes it's above the chat or next to it, but there's a button that says more. And when that drops down, you'll see links to like all of the Miyuki colors. These are Miyuki 80. And then I put a link to where I got them, which is from Jill Wiseman Designs. And all of these tubes are pretty good. They're like 28 grams. That's pretty good, right? Lots of seed beads. In a 28 gram tube will go pretty far. So I got a lot done. Actually, come to think of it, I can show you. These were so full that they don't even look like I used any. And I made this whole bracelet with what you see here, and it hasn't even tapped the surface. So these were packed tubes. I don't even know how they got them in there so tightly. One of them I opened and it kind of went everywhere. I had to find them all scattering to bring them back to my mat. So, yeah, and I love these Picassos. Yeah. Carol says these are she loves these Picasso beads. These are my favorite kind of bead, like just any of these Picasso finishes. And they come in so many different varieties of color. But I got to admit my favorite being the turquoise, always. It seems to be the favorite for lots of us. And see what else. Look at this one. This one is really, really, really good. It's like well, it says Azure blue luster. But look at the color on that. It just like glows. It has like a glow to it. And I put that next to these pops of Catalina in orange. And I just went wild for that combo. And it turns out it's one of the color trios that is considered complementary. Like if it was a music chord, it would be a chord. If each of these was a note. So they're just so pretty. So everything that I'm using here is currently available on Jill Wiseman's website. So you can find it there. And then I'm using those findings from Allegory Gallery. And I linked them directly from the description. They're also linked directly from the website. So if you go to my website to download the pattern, I just put a link for each of the findings that I'm using directly in that link, in the blog entry. So you don't have to browse or try to find them. But if you want to browse, it's a really cool store. And so I'm featuring today the little smaller connector, a little smaller than the one we were using for the big loom pattern. So this one, you only need, well, this pattern has 5 colors, but you only need 8 beads across. So you can see how this one starts there. So it gets done a lot faster. The other one, it was quite a bracelet. That one took a while to make, but it definitely was worth it because it was gorgeous. So what I was thinking I would do for today is I would start a brand new one, just like I did when I started this one, and then we'll switch to this one when we're ready to show finishing it. Yeah, Tana says she's so far behind on beading projects, and I'm not going to be able to help you out much there. Not only am I behind, but I'm about to flood you guys with content. So I'm doing a bunch of stuff for a bunch of folks, and it's all getting released at the same time, which always happens. I don't know. You guys are thinking that I like worked overnight on them, but no, it's like stuff I worked on over several weeks. It just happens that some of this stuff comes out at the same time. And so, yeah, but it's all good stuff. So hey, why not? And you just get to it when you get to it. I bookmark stuff, and I'm going to if someone doesn't invent this for me, I'm going to do it. I need like a bookmark app. Maybe this exists already. It's got to. I can't be the only person thinking of this, but like an app where you just kind of like Pinterest, but a little simpler, where you're just literally giving yourself lists of projects that are like with links and stuff. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So let's dive in. I'm going to use some 8-pound fireline. So you can use 6-pound too. It's totally fine. I just happen to have a lot of 8-pound. It's kind of my go-to, but I don't think that a 6-pound bead, a 6-pound weight would be just fine. I think it would be fine. So I'm going to do a wingspan of thread. And I did add thread one time when I was making my bracelet. Oh yeah, and let me get you guys some dimensions, and let me make my screen big because you're missing half of the page here. Let's see. Okay. Let's line this up. All right. So the bracelet. And we don't need these for the moment. So this one is almost done. And when I get the finding on it, before my clasp, it's going to be roughly 6 1/4. And I'm including in that the height of my finding loop. And so if you stitch this whole thing up using the same stuff I'm using, that you'll get right about there using the pattern that I provided. And again, that pattern is just on my website. It's called the Ocean Reef Bracelet, and it has exactly all the colors you need and all of the order in which I stitched them. So that's what I'm going to duplicate here today. And I added thread again one time as I was working on that one. So let's just trim that. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and flatten the end of my fire line and get my beading needle, which is a size 10. Just as a regular size 10 beading needle. It's one of the Beadle-On ones, I think. And again, this is a finding from Allegory Gallery. It's made of pewter, made in the US. It has 8 holes going across, and the other side of it is empty, like recessed, I guess is the right word. I'm not sure how to describe, but like it's just kind of, everything's just one side here. So it's like a little open box, I guess. And we're just going to build our herringbone stitch right onto the finding. And you won't have to do any, ladder stitching to start. Makes it so easy. And so I'm going to start with my colors. Like I was saying earlier, I opened these up and they were so full the first time I used them that I had to be careful I didn't lose a bunch of them. They just went flying everywhere. So there's that. Thanks, Sherry. Yeah, I love these colors too. It's really fun. So for now, I just need these four. What I did in the pattern was kind of a floating. I thought it was maybe just a little bit reminiscent of ocean bubbles or maybe some sea kelp coming around through the colors, and it glows. That color there, the one that's running the stripies, is called Magic Lined Emerald. And it's really magic. It's very, very beautiful. Some of the most beautiful colors I've seen put together like that is just very cool. So I really, really fast fell in love with this, and I will not mind having two of them. So, oh, hey, Linda. Yeah, and Lenny says she likes that finding a lot. I was so happy when I discovered this because I've been on the lookout for something like it for a long time. And it's funny, I even had some little sketches going for something similar. And then I ended up talking to Andrew, and he was saying, "Oh, well, check out our shop because William and I are carrying stuff like that." And then he sent me some, and I was just blown away when I saw them because they're exactly what I was looking for. Oh, hey, they're here. Aw, thanks so much. Hey, William. You guys, William's here in the chat. I love these findings, so I'm so happy to use them. I'm so glad they exist because they are so perfect. You're about to see how easy they make. This particular bead weaving stitch usually, like, it requires you to do a bunch of steps at the beginning to create like a little ladder. This finding means you can go directly to the herringbone stitch without having to do any laddering at all. So it's just so cool. So I put on a stop bead, and this is just a you string it and you go back through it, and this is just to hold it on the finding while I'm working, and then at the end I'm just gonna take off the stop bead and weave it in as usual. So that's what I've done here, and any bead should work. I think an 11-0 might slide in, so something 8-0 and bigger. And go ahead and just bring your needle through the recessed side of the finding so it exits from the very edge hole there. So you can kind of see how it's going right through the edge. Oh, thanks, Sherry. Yeah, I think you will have so much fun with creating with these. And so there is my thread ready to go from that side. And so I'm just following off camera here, guys. I want to show you what I've got. I'm following my chart. And I like to work from the bottom of my charts, but it actually doesn't matter. You can work from the top or the bottom. And so all of these are just going to work straight in this direction, just kind of almost like, I would say almost kind of like if you were working a loom pattern. So you just mark off each one as you finish it. So I'm going to start with 2 of the Azure blue. And then I just need to pick up the 2 beads that are in the first column for my herringbone stitch design. And with my thread exiting from the side hole, I'm going to go through the next one, the adjacent one. And there you go. That's all there is to it. It's so easy. And so now I'm going to bring my needle up through the 3rd hole. So through this one right here. And now I'm going to pick up the next color, which is the Picasso turquoise color. And we'll go down through the 4th hole. And we're going to head up through the 5th one. Next color is this Catalina blue. It's almost like a green. So easy to do this. And now I'm heading back up through the 7th. There we go. And the next one is this beautiful orange color. Bring that down through the last hole, the 8th one. And there you go, row 1 of herringbone stitches all done. And if you want, you can just come over here and tighten up your stop bead by just kind of holding your thumbnail. I did that a couple times as I was going with the first row. That's all there is to it. Oh, hey, Lorena. Thanks, Leslie. I hope you guys love it. I had so much fun with it. And of course, I'm going to need to make lots of colors. And I just love things that work with size 8 seed beads too, because they're so nice. They stitch up really fast. We're in holiday season right now, so how cool would this be to open on the holidays as a gift to receive? That would be so fun. And you can personalize colors for everything, for like people's school colors, things like that. It's really fun. And so after you finish this first row, all you need to do is we want to get ourselves back up, exiting from this edge bead. And what I did to get there was super easy. I just went ahead and headed back up through the 7th hole. So through that one right there. And from there, making sure to keep my thread underneath that 7th bead, I just headed up through the 8th bead. And you can just tighten it up a little bit. It doesn't need too much. And so you'll get that. And now let's start the 2nd row. Just making sure I don't have a tangle here with my thread. So I'm going to pick up 2 of the orange color beads from my pile. And I tend to flip my herringbone work so that I'm working from left to right. So you'll see me doing that. And again, I've got those 2 orange beads. And let's go down through the 7th bead there in the first row. So your beads will sit like that. And then head up to the next one. So now we're rolling with just regular herringbone, where you pick up 2 colors, head down through the next. And I noticed that after my 2nd row, everything just worked without me even having to help the beads. You know how we kind of, sometimes with herringbone, you have to help them settle into that little V-shaped position for the first couple of rows. This one was so quick. By like the 3rd row, it'll be adjustment free. It's already looking so beautiful. All right. So there it is. And that is the end of row 2. So as far as how to do your step ups, I know that there's folks who prefer to do different kind of step up, that, you know, one that weaves around where you go through that bead, which would be this one here, and then just jump over through this one. That's totally great. You can do that here. I am a side stepper. So what I like to do is I'll go through the bead above and I just let my thread show on the side. And when I'm using this clear fire line, I don't really even notice it. And let me show you on my finished one. So you can see I've got step up going, but they're just not that noticeable. If you're looking for them, you can see them. But even on that blue, and they certainly disappear on the magic color line, I feel like. And Lorena's asking, is herringbone a beginner? Yeah, it's certainly a beginner stitch. I think it's one of those stitches where after 1 or 2 practices, you just got to get the tension kind of figured out. But it's definitely not difficult. It's something that comes naturally after a few tries. Oh, thanks, William. Yeah, sorry for the I've discovered that those are gonna be very popular findings, I think, because there's more coming. I discovered that there's even another stitch that works. So it's gonna be kind of crazy. So far we've done loom and herringbone. So I'm gonna see, can you guys guess the other stitch that I tried? I have a sample in work. And certainly not the only stitch that will work, but one that works really nicely, really, really pretty. See how fast you can do a row like that? Just like, woo! Super quick. So I'm going to make a few rows, and I want to show you how I did the stripe. And then when you guys feel like you've got this and you want to see the finishing, we will hop over to my other sample and we'll have it all set. And this is the part where if you've got some good music or some tunes or like a podcast, this is the time to turn those on and then just enjoy your day, just stitching. It's the most fun thing to do. Look how beautiful. This is beautiful. Oh my goodness. I really do love herringbone stitch. I might forget that I'm doing a live right now and just like start singing to myself. And so in the pattern, oh, Nancy says, I'll re-listen to your videos. Oh, thanks, Lorena. Yeah, this is so fun. This one is just like the most beautiful, and it just came together without a lot of effort. And that's something that I really appreciate, especially when we get to gift season. And I feel like there's energy in things like when someone receives something that you just really enjoyed making, they can feel that. Like when they get the piece, they're like, oh, look, they can feel that it was something that you enjoy doing. It brought you joy and it brings them joy. All right. And so I think at this point, let me just take a quick look at my pattern. Sometimes I get onto autopilot. And one thing I'll say with the pattern is it's easy to just keep going and forget to introduce your stripes. And so let's see where I put the color that has the stripes in it. Oh, here it is. And so when the stripes start is after the 5th bead. And so how it works, remember the numbers 5 and the numbers 8, because that's what ended up happening because we've got 4 columns. And then just based on where I started introducing each of the stripes, you'll end up with spaces of 8 beads in between each one. And each of the stripes is 5 beads tall. And then just to keep it simple and easy to remember, I started it 5 beads from the bottom. So now we'll do our first color B. And you know, the easiest way, if you want to just put a Post-it on there, you could always just put a Post-it on your like you know, you can even like use a magnet ruler. Sometimes I do that. Remind me at the end, I'll show you guys my magnet ruler. I forgot to bring that over. But so the way I did it is just like a regular, like a staircase. So I'll start with the really pretty magic lined emerald, and then I'll go back to the azure blue. Oh, sorry, I'm on the orange side. So I jumped the gun on that one. I just need to make a trip back this way. I think it matters which side you start, which could work with either. You'll just want to keep an eye on your pattern, knowing which side. Let me show you again. So I started with this one. So that put me over here. And then, so now I'm over here. So I'm headed this way. And when I get over here, I need to end with B. Now, if you started with your E beads, you'll be in the opposite position from me. Or if you started from the top, you might be in a different spot. So definitely recommending the Post-it or the ruler. And then that will help you with it. But honestly, like after the first stripe, you won't need the pattern anymore because you'll start to be able to see, oh yeah, I've got to add it here. And I built the pattern just before I came on this live. And I mean, I worked that first design with no pattern because the stripey thing is something I do a lot. All right, so here we're going to end with the color B because I know after my 5th blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that I want a magic lined emerald to be my next bead. So there we go. So we're going to start next row with 2 of those. And then we'll work that way. But like I was saying, you'll just see it. You won't have to really, after the first stripe, you won't even need it anymore, the pattern. Oh, hey, Lorena says she'll be at workshop on Friday. Yes. Oh, hey, have fun, William. Thank you for joining. And thank you so much for these findings. Jennifer's here. Hey, Jennifer, I wrote back to your note and I'm so sorry it took me so long. You gotta text me. I'm so bad with my my Instagram messenger. I'm so bad with it, guys. I need to get better. I know I do. Well, it's been crazy because of this weekend was like so much stuff. And then last week I had visitors and everything, but Jennifer is going to join me Saturday. We're going to do a project and we're going to figure it out. Because we're kind of winging it. I have some ideas, and but I haven't sent them to Jennifer yet. So yeah, but I bet you she's got ideas too. She's always got good ideas. And it's been way too long since we've had Jennifer on. So that'll be this Saturday at 2 p.m. And I need to update my calendar. I'm so sorry. My calendar is not currently updated. It's blank. I don't know how that happened. I swear I updated it very recently. Time is just flying by. It's going so fast. And I blink and I look and I'm like, oh my goodness. But one of the reasons this week is so busy is, as Lorena mentioned, we have winter workshop this weekend. And so I'm teaching a Starburst Supernova earring, which features my first ever earring finding design for JJB. We did a finding together and Sarah had it made and it's the coolest thing. And so I'll have to, I think I'm going to just run it by them, but I think I can post it on my Insta soon. And you can see a sketch of it on their website. If you go to the winter workshop listing, you can see it there. But just something fun, something different. Oops, drop that bead. So how are you guys feeling about the herringbone? Well, thanks, Bonnie. Yeah, Jennifer says she's super excited. Let me put that up on the screen. I'm super excited too. And when we were first talking about this, it always feels like it's so far away. Like we're like, oh yeah, that's going to be in 2 months, 3 months. And I used to kind of be like, wow, they get started early planning for that. Now I know why. Because it really is a lot of prep goes into that workshop. They work hard on it and they start really early. Because a lot of things need to come together. It's quite the undertaking to put together a workshop like that with so many moving parts and so many instructors. And each instructor has a kit, and that kit has to be tested for quantities, all that kind of stuff. Oh, hey, Becky's here. Yay. Oh, you ordered some, Becky? Oh, I can't wait to see what you make. You're going to make beautiful, beautiful things. And you guys, Becky has an awesome YouTube channel, as does Jennifer. In fact, anyone who wants to post their YouTube channels, please feel free to do so, because I think that would be cool. Oh, and Jennifer says some too. She's got some on her way. That's so cool, guys. I cannot wait to see what you make. And I also forgot to look up and see if anybody guessed the stitch that also is so cool with this finding. So we've done loom. This is herringbone. Oops, I made a quick little mistake there. I need to add one of these. But I will just tell you, it is right angle weave. So I tried peyote too, and peyote works with some smaller 11-0s spacing the top. I haven't finished a design with right angle with either actually, but I've got a right angle weave started that is working, and it's beautiful. So I will be sharing that probably next time I do another one of these kind of projects. That will be probably what I do. All right. So you see, we've got a stripe going there. And it's that easy to do. It is not even difficult at all. So pretty. So let's see. Oh yeah. So Cindy, brick stitch definitely absolutely will work. And it would actually you would just kind of start the way we just did, I think. So I haven't done it yet. It's in my mind still. But just looking at the finding, the way you would start brick stitch on there is, I think you could just kind of start it the way we did this one, bringing beads on, and then start your next row with maybe an increase row, which would give you a row with 9 beads, right? What do you think of that? Would that be cool? And Leslie says peyote. Peyote is definitely on the list though, and peyote is going to work. But you know how on peyote the beads end like that on the side? So what I did is I filled it in with 11-0 and got that to sit right at the edge. But the right angle weave was interesting because I just linked each of the beads to one of the holes in like a square shape. So I'll be sharing that one in an upcoming tutorial. But I just wanted to mention that so many things will work. It's really, really easy, really cool. And so I've got 5 here, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what you're looking out for in this pattern, if you want to kind of work it without having to follow along a whole like graph, is just know that when you get to 5 beads here, you're going to want to switch back to the Azure blue and just introduce it in a stair-step fashion. And so I'm going to go ahead and of course, if you're working from the other direction because you started with orange, you'd just be adding the blue as your last bead instead of the first one. And then in the case of this direction, I'm going to carry on with the magic line until I get to the orange in this case. And see, you can kind of just see it. See how it's going right in a step? It's got this beautiful one right here. And for this one, almost completed a whole stripe. The bottom part of a whole stripe. See how fast this goes? This only took us the first half of class to make. And we had, you know, our usual greetings in the beginning. So it really is a quick project. So I think it's great for gifting. Anything you can make in like under 2 hours is a perfect holiday idea. All right. And so see, we're ending with the 2 blue. And we'll do our little step up there. That's all there is to it. So easy. Lorena says she just completed her first peyote stitch bracelet. That's so cool. Yeah, the thread bloopers, that happens to all of us all the time. Yeah. So I had a bunch of them today, actually, on something else I was working. I had to start over. But, you know, if you try it and it doesn't work, you can always, that's the thing I think that discoveries happen that way. Very cool. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Me too. We were talking about that. We were saying we love Picasso. So Jennifer, what are we doing this weekend? I'll send you some ideas, but if you have ideas, I'd love to go with yours. So how do you guys feel about this? Do you want me to keep going? Or you want me to switch to my finished sample and we'll do finishing? It's pretty much the same thing. You just carry on. You can use our thread burning trick to add thread, which is actually how I did it. On this one, I just did the whole burner thing. Oh, I see a quick question here. How to end the celebration bracelet. So that's the wide one. That's the one we made with all of the colors in the mix. And it was the single peyote, right? That's the one I started, but I have not finished it yet. If it's the one we're thinking of, I need to finish it. We did the Carol's Fall bracelet, the one with the owl. We finished that by doing a stitch over leather and a button. And Kathy's saying, yes, it's that one. So yeah, I have not actually finished that one yet. So I think what I'll do, I have a couple ideas. Well, 2 ideas, both of which would be super easy. But let me ask, would you prefer a finishing method that uses a finding, or would you like a non-finding one that just uses kind of common stuff like a button or a clasp, or I could introduce a finding to finish it? So I have 2 kind of streams of thinking for that one. So let me know. And I haven't tested it, but it is about that wide. So I could do a version, maybe I'd have to get some 15s to connect it. Kathy says finding. Okay. I'll tell you what, I will research a finding and I will either get you a source for it or carry it myself for finishing it if I don't already have it, which I might. But let me see what looks good. Let me see what I can come up with that is really easy and cool to finish and that I can find ample stock of. Yeah, and why don't I go ahead and put that on the calendar for, you know what? Let's do it next Monday. You want to do it next Monday? What is that day? Let me look really quick, make sure I'm, because we've got the holidays coming up, so I got to make sure I know what I'm doing. Let's see, so today's the 11th. Yeah, let's do that on the 18th if you're free. Finishing celebration bracelet. So that is the peyote stitch one, guys, that we did. And I'll post some stuff on Instagram. I'll post an in-process photo of it so you know what we're talking about for anyone who's joining. Yeah, and Jennifer says should be the 18th. Yeah. All right, on my calendar. I just added it. Cool, and that will be a great one just because technique-wise, it is a technique that will work for lots of things. How to finish a pretty wide peyote bracelet, even count with single beads. It's not a multi-draw. And then I see another question about mix release. So actually, Carol has just designed a winter mix. So we were going to try to make it to the end of the year on Celebration, but it sold out twice. And I don't have restock requests for a third restock. And if there are people who want it, just let me know. But so far it sold out 2 times. And I think that's usually the life cycle of a mix. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so winter mix is finished and I'm in the process of figuring out how to get it to you guys. So I either need to source it or what are your thoughts on if I pointed you to a place where you could get it? So would you rather I try to source it? And if I source it, I usually source the findings. That's the only thing. The only thing is we're coming up to that time of year when I start to become terrified of the mail. I get super anxiety because everything gets lost around Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so I have mail anxiety as a seller. I need to get over that though. So I'm willing to face my fears. But then I know so many great suppliers now that have all the colors. So it's like, oh, we could just do that. It's easier. Either way, you get all of the cool designs and the content, no matter what. And just how do I get you the beads? And her new dangle earrings. Oh yeah, Marianne's asking about. So those are the ones that have kind of the ombre and then they have like a little dash pattern. Yeah, she is working. She is working on those. And Marianne says that she is saving her celebration mix for those. Okay. Let me touch base with Carol and see if we can get together and finish that up. Maybe we'll make that one of the Saturdays coming up. I got to get Carol back on here too. All right. And so let's go ahead and I'm going to switch this one really quick. And maybe just push these up. Just going to get these out of our way a little bit here. So you have a clear field of view. Okay, so when you start stitching, you'll probably run out of thread, like maybe, I don't know, after your 3rd stripe is about how far I got, working with the amount that I started with, which was probably 70 inches or so. So when I got there, I did the burn trick to add thread. These are 8/0 seed beads. You'll have no trouble getting your knot through an 8/0 bead. Everybody knows the burn trick, I'm assuming. Give me a shout if you don't, I'll show it at the end. But it's just a way of singeing your old working thread to a new thread so that you don't have to weave in. Here's my beautiful finding end. And so the first thing you want to do is just take a look and you will see, oh, hey, Deborah, you will see a little loop. And the loop is on one face of the finding. And in this case, I've got it laying down against the mat. So as I stitch on my finding here at the top, I'm just going to match that. And I know it would still work even if I didn't, but when it's being worn against your wrist, if you have your finding like that, I feel like it would stay flat easier. That said, I'm not sure it's super critical. So let's get a needle onto my thread here. And apologies for working with I should have worked with a darker color. I was trying to disappear it on the side of my bead. All right. So you're going to love how easy this is. It's so cool. All right. And so I'm a working left to right herringbone stitcher. So what I'm going to do is just I'm going to flip it and make sure I flip the finding so that it is also, let me show it laid out again. Now you see I've got this one on this side. Loops on the top now. So this is going to loop on the top. Okay. And I'm going to connect it just like that. So just I'm laboring on the orientation of it so that you'll have your loops on the right side when you get started. Okay. So just going to go through the edge hole here. So far, so good. And then bring your needle down through the second hole. And go through the second bead. So this column right here. And I'm just going to hold on to the finding and tighten that all down. So we're just treating it like two beads. I love findings where the finding becomes the bead as part of the stitch. So I'm going to go up through this next column. And I'm going to head up through the third hole in the finding. It's going to get a little hard to see, but let me try to show it here. So you see we've got that linked there like that. Hope that's coming across clear. We're just going to go up through this one. And we're going to carry on like that through to the end. And I will reinforce it, both top and bottom, but it is really strong. And let me show you how quick too. That's it. And you're done. Just got to weave in. Reinforce and weave in, and that's it. And I've got that remaining to do on both sides. So I would have to take off my stopper bead, put a needle on that end, leave a good tail for that. Leave yourself at least 10 inches so you have weaving in. And then on this side, same thing. And so let me show you how to reinforce it really quick. I know, Bonnie, right? Bonnie says so cool. This is going to save me so much time. I love things that just save me time. Because now I can just do these kind of designs without ever having to really like worry about finishing it. Ladder, you know how we do the herringbone zip up where we do that like add a bead, go back a bead thing to flatten the edge? We don't have to do that ever again. Just use this finding. So super cool. And so Karen's requesting to see, yes, we will show that trick here. We've got a good amount of time. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just show reinforcing and weaving in on one side so you know how to do it. So it's up to you from here. You see how my thread's coming down through this bead? If you wanted to, you could just step up into the finding. If you wanted to go down through a few more beads, you could. maybe overlap one of your other step ups. And I think that's kind of my preference to do that. I'm trying not to get a knot there. So in that case, I'll go down through 2 more beads. But at this point, you're just in the realm of following the existing thread path, doing whatever feels good to your hand. And it's the opportunity, of course, to fix spots that were loose that maybe you wanted to fix. I went right through the finding here. I'm going to go back down through the bead. So here, I'm going to go through the next hole. And it's surprisingly easy, even though you lose the visibility. It works. And I ended up going through a bunch of beads there, and that's totally fine. Go up through the next ones. See, ended up right where I wanted to be there. And then I'm just going to go down through however many beads ends up being. In that case, I went down through 2. There's 4 there. So see how strong you can make that connection. It's really easy. And I do think that 2 passes, and I feel like that's plenty. So you've got those 2 passes there. It's only, you know, it's 8 pound, and it's only 1 pass typically through the work itself. So even though there's a little more pressure on a finding, I do think that from here, we could just weave in and trim it. So let's do that. Just really quick. And so to weave in, you just want to go through a few rows. And in herringbone, you can really go through as many as you like. So like, see here, I went through 1 bead. And here I'll go down through 2. It actually really does not even matter. I just went down through 4. A few here. Let's head down through a few of those. And I like that spot because it can overlap another one of my thread step ups. All right, so from here, I'm just going to trim it. There it is. And you know, if you like to do your step up with 15s, you can add 3 size 15 seed beads. Every time you do a step up, pick up 3, and that will cover up those little threads on the side. And it would be, the width of it would still be about the same width as you're finding. So symmetrically, it would look very beautiful. I might do that. I might do one with the 15 embellishment on the side. All right, let's do the little thread trick really quick. So I'm going to use my tail over here and maybe just link to the one I just trimmed. So, okay, here I'm going to move this really quick so you can see what I'm doing. Let's slide that over. That's better. That's so much better. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to tie a regular, so with Fireline. It's different instructions for 1G and KO. This is a Fireline trick. So that's stuff like this, right? And currently I'm using, where did I put it? I hid it for myself. At the moment I'm using 8 pound. And so again, I'm just going to take each of the ends I want to connect and start with a regular good old knot and then make it a double knot. So just like a double, start with a shoelace and then go to double knot. And then you'll notice you can pull it apart pretty easily. And before you lose those tails, use either like a thread burner, or you could go for like a lighter maybe, but I think thread burner is probably the way to go. It's easier. And go ahead and mushroom that. Do that for both ends, both tails. and then just pull them apart. You'll get a knot, and this knot will fit through most beads. I would caution against trying to get it to work in a brick stitch design, because brick stitch, it's going to catch under your thread bridges. 15-0s are too small as well. You can kind of get it through 15s if you're really determined, but you have to hold them steady while you pull it through, and it will deform the tension of your work a little bit if you're trying to pull a knot through a 15-0. But 8-0 designs, fair game. Go ahead. Even at 8 pound, I have no problem getting this to work. And this works for all the sizes, 4 pound, 6 pound, 8 pound. The other thing it will work with is it'll work with some 11-0s. So Miyuki 11-0, Toho 11-0, no problem. I wouldn't do a check 11-0. They're too small. But other than that, this is a cool trick to save you some time on most designs. And again, avoid it on brick stitch because it won't work for brick stitch. But that's the only one where you have to weave in, really. And then, yeah, we'll do I don't have any thread in front of me currently, but we'll do a thread one. And the next time I use thread, remind me the thread trick. We showed it on one of my lives for Sam. Actually, it was one of my lives too. It was the Seed Bead Saturday for the carnelian earrings. So you could check that out if you're doing a KO or a 1G. Yeah. All right. Does anyone have any questions for me on this project or future ones that we've got coming up? I could pop the findings on one side here. Why not? Oh, Lorena, you and me too. Lorena's saying she was having some printer troubleshooting. Yeah, I had that happen earlier today too. And in my case, it started with being out of paper, but then I don't know what happened after that. Something else happened. I think the boys have been using it for their homework and stuff, and so it's a hard-working printer, let me tell you. And I'm just going to pop a jump ring on here. And this this toggle is an Allegory Gallery toggle as well. There it is. Oh, I love it. And that's going to be so pretty to wear. I think that's going to be great. Thanks, Cindy. She says she loves this pattern. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Well, let me bring me back up really quick, and I'm just going to recap the notes that I took during our live for things that are coming up. So I'm going to get in touch with Carol, and we'll get a date on the calendar for when to do her earrings. That was the ombre dash ones that she did from the toggle bar. And Marianne, let me know if that's the right one. That's the one I was thinking of when I saw your comment earlier. And then let's see what other. Oh yes, and then this Monday I'm going to finish the celebration cuff. That was the even count peyote bracelet we did with the celebration mix. It was the same stitch that we used for Carol's fall bracelet, but it was a wide cuff that used every color. So I'm going to brainstorm a unique finish for that and introduce maybe a finding for it for next Monday, the 18th. And then Saturday, Jennifer and I have something for you guys. And I can already promise it will be cool. That much I know. So as soon as we have like something kind of figured out, I'll post on Instagram and stuff like that. Yeah. And then let me see if there's any questions I missed. Oh yeah, Lorena's asking how is my son doing? So my youngest is the beater. And actually I can show you guys something cute if you want to see. So he is getting into beading, and I gave him his own set of tools. So I got some of he chose them himself. And so they're the sparkle purple. And let me show you what he did with his toolbox really quick. All right, so they come in like these like sets of 3 from Beadalon. So I did a giveaway for one of the sets. I kept one for me, and then I'm gonna have to raise the camera a little bit so you can see it. Hang on. There we go. Okay. This is what he did. They're all happy faces. He was so excited. I'm like, these are your own tools, because he does kind of like he'll come take my tools sometimes. And I'm like, hey, where'd my, and, you know, I got Lindstrom's and stuff. Like, I kind of got to know where those are, you know. But I said, okay, I'll get you your own set. You pick the color. And so he was so happy. This is his little set. He's got them all in there. And we're going to do some wire work together. And I just gave my kid cutters. It's a little dangerous, you know. It's okay. We're going to be all right. I have to let him grow. I have to be a little more brave. A bit of a helicopter parent. I'm not going to lie. But yeah. So yeah. Aw, Cindy says she'd like to see. I will share some of his work. He actually makes a lot of really beautiful things. And my older son, he does too. He dabbles in some of the creative arts as well. So he's more of like a he does like storyboards, and he uses a computer program to make like kind of like movies and games. So that's kind of his expression format. But he does every once in a while he'll come over, hey, what you guys doing? And he'll join in too. So yeah. And Becky says that'd be fun. Yeah, Jennifer, you're right. You're right with me. And that was the same thing, same feedback I got from other family when I'm like, yeah, I'm getting him his own set. And they said, well, not cutters, right? And I'm like, it comes with cutters. That's his favorite part. He likes to sit there and cut the wire. So gotta let him try things, right? I will just have to, yeah, I'll do some shadowing, at least at first, until he's comfortable with that. Cool. So let's see, Saturday, Jennifer and I will be with you guys here at this time at 2 p.m. Pacific on Saturday. And then in between now and then, keep an eye on Jill Wiseman's website for YouTube. She's going to launch something. And I'm working on stuff with Sam. You might see something from Sam. And then I believe, oh, yes, Thursday is really awesome. Thursday, keep an eye on Jewel Loom, because I have Juliana's November project coming up. And this month, she's going to release it on YouTube. So it's going to be, everyone can view the project. And I think she has 6 kits left right now. The November project I'm doing is a pocket, like a little pocket necklace to put like a charm in for gifting. And it'll have a little earring set with it. And it's made in kind of like a hanging bulb pattern. A little intricate. It's serious looming, but it's really beautiful. That should be Thursday at 4 o'clock Pacific on Jewel Loom's YouTube channel. Yeah. And maybe Jennifer and I will do something that along those lines this weekend. Oh, Cindy says her granddaughter is into beading too. Yeah, my youngest is 9. Yeah, that's a good age to get started, I think. Develop the motor memory and those skills. By the time they're like adults, they'll be like really, really good at it. It's so cool. Yeah, Betty, I'm trying. I'm going to update my calendar tomorrow morning so that all of this will be on there and the other stuff. And I'm going to just try to add stuff that's on other channels too, so that you can find that stuff too. So tomorrow morning, don't look tonight because I haven't done it yet. Look tomorrow. Awesome. Well, hey, you know where to find me if you need me for any questions on this project or ideas. Still always open for ideas from you guys for stuff you want to see. So I'm at Danielle Wickes Jewelry on Instagram, or you can just get me from my website too. Etsy shop's another great way. So until next time, I'll see you guys, and happy beading.